All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Crush, 1993, U.S. psychological thriller film written, directed by Alan Shapiro, which stars Cary, Elwes as Nick Elliott and Alicia Silverstone as Darian Forrester in her feature film debut. She must have been 16 or 17 in this one. But they portray her as a 15-year-old, and they even show her bum in this one. It was quite shocking. I'm guessing that's why it gets a rating. I can't think of any other reason why. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was okay. For some reason, Alicia Silverstone doesn't strike me as a very menacing person, no matter how loud she screams while she's attacking her crush. I don't know. It just didn't seem very convincing to me, but what do I know? I'm just a movie reviewer on YouTube with less than 1,000 subscribers, only 1 million page views, hardly any time. I just have a handful of people who take the time to go through all of my video, especially when I'm going down my list. It takes me like 15 minutes just to go down my list. All right. Well, I'm done complaining about my crappy YouTube channel. Adrian says it's the best. And Karate Man switched over from Rambo Raf for life. So that's good enough for me. I'm satisfied with Karate Man and Adrian, not to mention Professor Quiz and Jeff Jaffe. All right. The occasional commenters, Professor Quiz and Jeff Jaffe. All right. When 28-year-old writer Nick Elliott moves to a new city for a magazine job, Darian Forrester, in the version that I saw on YouTube, her name is Adrian, not Darian. But I'll talk about that later. I guess I watched the television version, even though I had the Netflix DVD. I just used that to watch the bonus features, and I watched the YouTube version, which is 1 hour, 28 minutes, the same length that it says on Wikipedia for the running time, which is 88 minutes. We'll see what the movie poster says. Cool looking movie poster, but she's wearing way too much lipstick. This Alicia Silverstone teeny bopper. I can't even read this. It's too blurry. Forget the movie poster. All right. Darian Forrester, the 14-year-old daughter of the landlords, she looks more like 16 or 17 in this, whose guest house he rents, instantly makes her attraction to Nick clear. However, while Nick romances photographer Amy Maddock, very, very good-looking Jennifer Rubin. We like Jennifer Rubin on this channel, by the way. While Nick romances photographer Amy Maddock, Jennifer Rubin at work, he has trouble fending off Darian's advances. As her obsession with Nick grows, Darian becomes angry at being rejected, and she starts attacking his property and his friends, even going so far as having him arrested for sexual assault. I think she scooped up some semen from his condom and stuck it inside her or something. Some crazy scheme. Alicia Silverstone. The only good thing about this movie is that Alicia Silverstone keeps thinking of dastardly schemes, and it doesn't suit her because she doesn't look like a mean person at all. It was filmed on location from September 24th to November 20th, 1992. So I guess she was 15 at that time. Only a year off this movie. In Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Does that make it a Canucksploitation film? The movie quickly became a cult classic. It also influenced other thriller and suspense movies of the 90s and 2000s. 28-year-old Nick Elliott, Cary Elwes, secures a job at Peak Magazine and lodging in a guest house belonging to Cliff and Liv Forrester. Cliff Forrester's played by the great Karate Man's in the chat room. He says, it's been a year already since the famous slap, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's all over Facebook. If you go on Facebook, you see that Chris Rock kidding around prior to getting slapped. Anyways, as I was saying, Cliff Forrester is played by the great Kurtwood Smith. Who's in... what was that movie he was in? I can't even think of it. Anyways, the handsome Nick soon becomes acquainted with and frequently visited by the couple's 14-year-old daughter, Adrian. I thought it was Darian. Alicia Silverstone, a precocious girl who becomes intensely infatuated with him. Adrian invites Nick to a party that her parents are throwing at their house without confirming that he will attend. Nick decides to stop in. As he enters the house, Nick is taken by Adrian's impressive piano performance. See, this is the problem. He's kind of egging her on by taking an interest in her and telling her, I want to be your friend. Really? 28-year-old wants to be friends with a 14-year-old girl? That seems a little odd, even for 1993, but what do I know? Nick follows Adrian to her parents' outdoor balcony afterwards. He muses that if she were just 10 years older, as she flirtatiously interrupts him, questioning what he'll do. Why does he say something like that? It sounds like Rodney Dangerfield. Call me when you're this much. Anyways, redirecting the conversation, Adrian suddenly encourages Nick to take her for a ride in his convertible. Again, why would he let her? Why would he let her sit in his convertible? Nick agrees to drive Adrian to a place of her choosing, a romantic, secluded area where she attempts to kiss him. It seems like he allowed her to kiss him for about 30 seconds, and then he turned his head away. Though initially receptive to the kiss, as I said, Nick stops when he realizes he is being seduced. It took him that long to figure it out? Without leading her on, Nick takes Adrian home. Adrian's crush on Nick intensifies, but he quickly wises up and he attempts to pull her off. He begins a budding romance with coworker Amy. Yeah, I should have just stuck to Amy instead of messing around with this 14-year-old. Adrian continues to boldly pursue him, sneaking into his room to rewrite his article, which impresses his boss. It's a little far-fetched. And even going so far as to undress in front of him when he accidentally hides in her closet. Now, the only time you can see from her shoulders down is when she's got her back turned and she's showing off her bum. And this is a 15-year-old girl in the movie. I don't know how they get away with this kind of stuff. Morgan Creek Productions, the production company responsible for Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, among other things. When Nick continues to rebuff her advances, Adrian's actions become destructive. She steals his favorite childhood photo of him and his grandfather. She defaces a car he has restored, and she erases his computer disks. Yet he's unable to convince her parents of her guilt. Cheyenne, a friend of Adrian's, tries to warn Nick about her, but she has an accident at the riding school she and Adrian attend together when Adrian sabotages the saddle on her horse. After Adrian spies on Nick in bed with Amy, she locks Amy in her dark room, and she empties a wasp's nest into the vents, exploiting Amy's fear of wasps, which is called Shexophobia. Another far-fetched scene. Amy survives, and Nick, now convinced that Adrian is in big trouble, attempts to find new lodging. However, Adrian accuses him of sexually assaulting her with evidence obtained from a used condom from Nick's trash. He is subsequently arrested after Michael bails him out and suspends him until trial. Cheyenne tells Nick that she knows he is innocent and that Adrian has an extensive history of obsessive behavior, citing a previous crush on a camp counselor named Rick, who accidentally died from eating something poisonous. Cheyenne also informs Nick of a diary Adrian kept that can exonerate him. After Cheyenne departs, Nick hears strange noises coming from the Forrester's house. He investigates and he finds Cheyenne bound and gagged on the carousel in the attic, which Kurtwood Smith was so proud of, but Alicia Silverstone doesn't want anything to do with that carousel. She's using it to torture her best friend. Adrian confronts and attacks him, leading Cliff to attack Nick after he mistakes him for the aggressor. It's not the first time. Adrian then knocks Cliff unconscious in defense of Nick. Another hard to imagine, highly unlikely scene, enabling the latter to subdue her with one punch. He just basically tosses her across the room. Acquitted, Nick goes to live with Amy in Seattle while Adrian is confined to a psychiatric hospital in Spanaway. Though she laments that Nick refuses to speak to her, respond to multiple letters she has written, or accept her apologies, her doctor comments that she is making good progress, unaware that she is now developing a crush on him. She's got a new crush. I thought she was kind of flirting with him at the end. Anyways. Let's see. Writer and director Alan Shapiro based the film on events from his own life. The girl on whom he based Adrian sued him for using a real name, Darian, for Alicia Silverstone's character. As a result, when the film was re-edited for TV, the character's name was changed from Darian to Adrian. Silverstone is still credited as having played Darian Foster on IMDb. The VHS and Laserdisc releases retain the original spoken dialogue that called the character Darian. The original theatrical trailer also refers to the character as Darian. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 24% rating from critics based on 29 reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of C plus on an A plus to F scale. So my my well my okay, Karate Man's chatting with me about the Oscars again. I don't watch the Oscars, but I thought it was kind of interesting that Chris Rock didn't press charges against Will Smith. I don't know why. If I was Chris Rock, I would have pressed charges. Oh, Jeff Jaffe is in the chat room. He says, hi. Hi, Jeff Jaffe. Well, yeah, I don't think anybody cared about the Oscars except for that one slapping incident, quite honestly. The Oscars used to be a big deal at my work. We used to have a Oscars pool to see we kind of guessed the winners of the Oscars for each category. And yeah. Now, who wants to watch that crap? I mean, it's just a bunch of woke nonsense, just like Disney nowadays, and most movies nowadays. So who wants to watch that? It's like watching Cuties on Netflix. Remember that one? What was the other controversial thing on Netflix? Yeah. I'd rather watch the Razzies. Not the Oscars, but the Razzies. That's more interesting to me than the Oscars, but that's just me. All right. Oh, yeah, I guess Will Smith doesn't like people calling his wife a bald-headed hoe. That's kind of a derogatory term from early 90s gangster rap. Chris Rock is just talking in 90s gangster rap. Will Smith can't handle it. He wants Chris Rock to be more civilized. So what does he do? He slaps him across the face. My favorite Asian food. That's a tough one. I'd have to go with Szechuan. I'll go with sizzling beef. That's my favorite Asian food. When they give it to you a platter and it's still sizzling and there's steam coming out. I don't know if they put oyster sauce in it, but they probably mix it with soy sauce, oyster sauce, and all this other stuff. Yeah, I guess Chinese is best food. Not the authentic Chinese food, of course, but the the fried stuff, the egg rolls, and the and the hot and sour soup. What else? Sizzling beef. Yeah, that's what I like. My Uh, when my first wife and I were living at my mother's house in Redwood City, there was a Chinese joint that had Vietnamese people working in it. and and my ex-wife used to order chicken fried rice, but the Vietnamese lady used to say it funny, like chicken fried lai, chicken fried lai. Oh man, it's like a scene from that Christmas Story movie. Used to crack me up the way my Filipino ex-wife made fun of that Vietnamese lady's accent. But they always had the hot sauce at that restaurant, which made it taste better. We used to go to the Chinese joint. We used to go across the street to Target to get like Pizza Hut, Target food. Oh man, those were the days when Hollywood Video, you had Hollywood Video across the street, then you had Target, then you had the Chinese joint. But my mother hated that house because it was right behind a hotel. The prostitutes used to dump their needles in her backyard. Needles and condoms. I hate sushi. I hate all fish. Except for tuna casserole, maybe. I never liked fish. And the thing was, my grandfather was Catholic. Back in the 70s, you had to eat fish on Friday. So he forced me to eat fish. And of course, I threw up all over the step that goes down to the living room, right in front of my grandfather. He made me sit there for like 2 hours and eat this fish. And finally, I just got up and threw up right in front of him. That was the last time he served me fish. My grandfather was crazy. Now I just take fish oil pills. That's my take fish oil pills every year. It must have been like 1980 when I was like 10 years old when this happened. But I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the expression on my grandfather's face when I threw up. I think he was disappointed that I started losing interest in Catholic religion. I told him I didn't want to go to church anymore. Cod and haddock. I used to like swordfish and salmon, but I can't eat any kind of fish other than tuna fish unless I wash it down with wine or something. The taste is too strong to me. I don't know what it is about fish that I never really liked. I guess it was because I was a only son, so I got spoiled and I got to eat whatever I wanted. I get to pick and choose. Even my grandfather couldn't force me to eat fish on Friday. He was a hardcore Catholic. He's the reason why my son and I are both Catholic. Anyways, enough about my personal life. I wasn't too crazy about this film. It wasn't that great, but I think I got some more discs coming down the pike that are much better. But I won't be getting a disc from Netflix tomorrow. Netflix is taking its sweet time sending me discs. I'll probably get one on Friday. Or maybe I'll get 3 on Friday. Or maybe I get 1 on Friday and 2 on Saturday. Those discs that I was telling you that I was going to get next week. Jeff Joffe says salmon is a strange fish to eat. Well, we got lots of salmon here in California, so it's quite plentiful here. Yes, I have reviewed Salem's Lot. That was an Adrian recommendation. I'll give you the link to that. Adrian's really into James Mason. And I thought James Mason did a great job in that Salem's Lot. So, yeah. That was an Adrian recommendation that I rated 5 out of 5 stars. I'll send you the link as soon as I can pull up my channel. It's taking so long. Adrian drank 2 bottles of wine. That's why he's not in the chat room right now. That guy's crazy, man. He's definitely got a drinking problem like my son. Spilling. My son has a drinking problem because he keeps spilling fruit punch all over. He's not paying attention. He's looking at his iPad, and then he reaches for his drink, and he's not looking at his hand. He's looking at his iPad. Oh, you remember the vampire kids at the window? Wow. Jeff Joffe has good memory. Let's see. Salem's Lot. Here we go. I'm just going to pull it up here. Hopefully the link will pop up and you'll have it. Oh, by the way, I only have one Steven Seagal movie in my Netflix queue, Out for Justice. Sorry, Karate Man. Oh, Karate Man's gone. Here's the link. Karate Man went to go get some Asian food. Oh, he's having Chinese food. All right. Well, I'll let you go. I'm not going to go through my list, or my video is going to be over 40 minutes. Jeff Joffe's still in the chat room. He's stuck around. But I'm going to munch on some popcorn. Maybe watch a little bit of Renegade Girl. Call it a night later.